Streaming on the MacBook, streaming on the MacBook, yeah. Polish this sumbitch up real nice. Tim's gonna see this title and fucking orgasm when he sees it. He's like, oh, fucking MacBook. I'm waiting for Tim to post. I know he's gonna post shortly. He's gonna have a moment where he jizzed in his pants. Jizzed in my pants. Jizzed in my pants. Jizzed in my pants. Tim's first type in there was whoa. Jizzed in my pants. Walked by. Alright, so we have a MacBook board today, woohoo. We actually have 3 of them. 3 water damaged ones. Actually, 2 are water damaged, one won't read the SSD for some reason. But this one is probably one of the worst of the group. JTAG there doesn't look terrible, but we're going to get rid of it. The main area of damage is around the LVDS. This, what looks to be the LCD trace that feeds power to the LCD, is completely exploded off the board. Hopefully I have a LVDS connector. If not, I'll have to order it, because I don't keep a whole lot of MacBook parts laying around. I've got some, but I don't know if I'll have one for a newer Air. If not, I might have a board I can scavenge it from, but I doubt it. Let's see. I doubt these are the same. Are you the same? Are you different? You look different. You might be the same. Why don't you fucking lay down where you're supposed to? Maybe. Yeah, that might be the same connector, actually. Pin count looks right. Connectors look right, so we might actually have it. Cool. Alright, so put the connector on the screen. That's true. I can always do that. What's up, Yassine? Alright, so we're going to start by cleaning this area up. I looked on the backside. The driver itself looks okay. I don't see any corrosion or anything around it. So I think we're pretty lucky that the backside's probably fairly clean. We'll go across it here so you can see it, but I don't really see any liquid damage on the back. So it looks like we're focalized. I mean, there's none over here either on this near the CPU or the PCH or whatever you want to call it. Looks like it's only in this area by the LVDS, maybe some in the Thunderbolt connector here. We'll clean that out. We'll run it through ultrasonic when we're done. But for the time being, we're going to go ahead and clean this area up. Freeze has been calling? No, I did not figure it out. I checked it this morning. All of the AP lines that go to the CPU are direct connections. There's no components in between, and we've changed the audio IC, so I highly doubt that 2 different audio ICs have the same exact issue. So I'm gonna guess that it's probably a CPU problem or an internal trace problem. Either way, it's not something I can fix, so it goes to the can't fix pile and will go out the door as a no fix. It sucks. I hate not being able to fix things, but what can you do? Alright, so I'm going to turn my working temperatures up on my station here to 400 because MacBook boards take a lot more heat to remove components. We're going to do a general cleanup first because corrosion always looks really bad, but sometimes it's not that bad. So it's best to clean up first and see what you have left over. Surprisingly, the fuse might be functioning, which is amazing. So we're just gonna scrub around here, make sure we get in between all these little ICs and components and get most of the corrosion up. I may pull this shield and see if there's anything under it. I'm not sure what that is. I think actually it's got a snap down cover so we can look. I don't know if it has to do with like Bluetooth or something with the Wi-Fi or something. I'm not sure. Of course, it's going to be a pain in the dick hole to get off. I'm sure Tim will post here in a second about what it is. There we go. No, it's a big controlling IC. I don't know what it is, but there's no water damage under there, so that's good. Wi-Fi? Why does it have a Wi-Fi card then? Like, it has a Wi-Fi card, and then why does it have that? Or maybe it's Wi-Fi Direct or something? Alright, so I'm going to start by removing the LVDS here. It's obviously fucking destroyed, so we're going to replace it. I'm going to start by just flooding the area with some leaded solder just to make it easier to come off. Don't have to do it, but I prefer to do it. I always, any connector that I like to pull off, I like to flood it with some leaded. Just to make it that much easier, no risk of pad lifting that way. Okay. And alright, that should be good. We'll come in with our hot air and remove this. So let's heat up the connector. Alright, should be close to coming off. Everyone's liquid. The only thing that we're waiting on to melt is underneath the connector. There is solder under it. Alright, it's loose. Alright, so we got that connector off. Now let's do some cleanup again and see what we have left over and what's not. Thunderbolt, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I saw an Intel chipset marking on that, so makes sense if that's Thunderbolt. As much as Lewis doesn't like Thunderbolt, it's actually somewhat useful for me. Looks like got a few components moved there. We'll have to look that up on the schematic and see what's left. Looks like we got a lot of damage around the connectors there. Yeah, we had some components still liquid evidently. I don't know how. But whatever. We should have a parts board in the back I can snag some of this shit off of. I'm gonna go ahead and take those out. Yeah, a couple caps there. Most likely go over here somewhere. Just tack these back to some pads here and we can come back and get them later. Stay there. Stay there. Cap over here looks like shit. This IC's got a burnt pad under it. Probably gonna pull it. Cap there looks like shit. Most of this looks okay. Let's check our fuse. I suspect it's probably okay because it usually is. It may not be. No, it's good. Of course, because why do you need a fuse when you can just let everything else explode? Alright, so hopefully we haven't gotten down to ground plane here. Looks like we've got something exposed down there. Let's see if that is ground. Not sure. We are going to wick those pads. You are correct. Alright, so let's get our wick. Clean our iron off a little bit. Data recovery. Someone has about 800 gigs of data on a 2 terabyte drive that failed. What ballpark figure of money would you charge to recover data and restore it to a new drive? Greg, depends on what kind of recovery you're doing. If you're having to do like software recovery, I mean, at least a few $100s. If you're having to do actual hardware recovery stuff, then more. So let's see. Let's clean it up and see what's left and what's fucked up. Alright, so it looks like the 2 pads that this sits on are gone. Get rid of this water sticker. Obviously we've had water on it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is probably put a thin layer of conformal coating down here to prevent any types of shorts. If this does short out for some reason. I suspect that the majority of the damage is going to be just to the pad here. The connector on the LCD does have some corrosion, so hopefully it's okay. We do have some parts down here that we're going to need to find. Like I said, hopefully I have a parts board here. If not, I'll have to order it. But this may not. This isn't probably related to the backlight, but or anything to do with the actual display. But and then we need to remove this guy. We may go ahead and do that actually. We're just going to get rid of the J-tag now. Make Lewis proud here. Let's go ahead and remove the J-tag. Okay, J-tag's off. Let's wick that area. Okay. By the way, this board is from the Apple authorized dealer across the street that we normally deal with. This board's not under any type of coverage due to the liquid damage, and the customer didn't want to spend whatever amount. I think it's like $700 that they charge to have it replaced. So Martin had somebody pee on their board. Well, that's nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our coating down and then we'll cure that. Why are you so dark? There you go. And it's going back dark. Let's push a little bit of our stuff up here. Okay, that's more than enough. I'll probably have to take some of that out. What's up, Manuel? Tier 4 repair. Tier 4. Alright, so I just want to thin layer this. I'm going to scrape off a lot of the excess whenever it's done. Use my fingertip there to kind of get rid of a lot of that excess. Mostly I'm just doing this to prevent any type of shorts from second layer there, because the second layer is exposed. So we'll let that cure for a second. Nasty hair being burned. Yeah, there's a lot of hair on this board. I don't know why. Lots of hair. Boop, 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 boop. So the plan is, once we get this cured, we're going to make sure that it's flat, and then we're going to lay our LVDS on. We'll have to tack down all our pads that are present, and then we're going to run our jumper for the I'm not sure if it's backlight or if it's the LCM power line that's hooked up. Maybe backlight, I'm not sure. I have to check the schematic. But we'll jump those pads over, and then we'll see what this thing does. And actually, I'll grab a parts board and see if we can swap all this shit off. I'm pretty sure I have one, but I'll have to check. LCD power? Okay. Yeah, I figured it was. He said they had no image, but they had image on output through the HDMI. Now, I have another one here that has no image output at all that had coffee spilt on it. It does chime, though, supposedly, and supposedly it turns on, but it has no output at all. Alright, that should be cured. Alright, so let's take our blade here, and I'm just going to run it across the top of it to make sure that this is flush, and it seems like it's fairly flush, so that's good. Alright, now we'll take our iron and clean up these pads that have some of our excess on it. Looks like this pad maybe it needs a little more TLC, looks like. So that pad right there looks like it's still a little corroded, so we'll clean that up. Looks like the pad's there, maybe it isn't. We'll see here in a second as we rub. Yeah, it's there. Just had a little oxidation on it. Alright, so let's go ahead and tin these up too. I've got the wider viewing angle lens coming in, so hopefully this camera issue won't be as big of a problem. Right now I have a 0.5 reduction lens on the camera, but it still has a very narrow field of view. I bought the 0.35 or 0.37 reduction lens, so it should be here tomorrow. Alright, so I'm just going to clean these pads up. Alright, it should be good enough. It should burn off most of the excess we have. Yeah, it's pin 3 and 4. It's backlight, I think. Alright, quick cleanup. So there we go. That's what we have left. Our spare components came off the board there. Whatever. Don't care. We'll replace you later. Pretty sure there are probably some filters or some bypass caps or something, so we'll take care of all that a little later. Alright, so now let's place our LVDS connector. I'm going to put down some flux. I don't have the fancy ones with the alignment pins, so I have to do this manually here. So I'm going to have to get this aligned and then tack my edge there. Come on, bitch. This would help if I put some solder on my iron here. Okay, that side's tacked. Then we'll move this one into place. Tack that one down. Alright. So we've got our legs tacked down now. Go ahead and make sure that this is sitting flush against the board before I start soldering everything else. Alright. So it seems pretty good. Hair? Yeah, there's hair all over here. Oh, underneath it? Yeah, I see it now. Let me pull that out real quick. Come on out of there. Here it comes. A little bit. There we go. Got it out. Got our hair out of there. We don't need that in there. So, put some flux down and we'll go to town tacking these down. We were able to drag solder most of those. Got a bridge there. That looks good. Okay, we got two down here. We can do our ground point. Leg. Okay, let's clean that up and see how it looks. When drag soldering works, it works well. Alright, let's see what our joints look like here. Alright, everybody looks like they are soldered well for the most part. Nice and sheeny. I like soldering LVDSs. It's been a long time since I've been able to do MacBooks. We haven't seen a whole lot of them lately. Although everybody and their mother is coming asking for, so I think I'm going to start buying some soon and fixing them. That's how I kind of started out. So when I first started doing repairs in general, I was watching Lewis, and I wasn't working at the time. Well, I was doing side jobs, but I didn't have like a full-time job. And I was watching Lewis, and he was fixing all these boards, and I was like, damn, man. And I was like, this guy spends sometimes maybe 10 minutes on a board and can sell it and make money on it. Yeah, Greg, I'm pretty sure the LVDS is going to have some burnt pins from what it looked like. We'll look at it here in a second, like the actual cable. I need to run my jumper wire from there to those two pins, so I'm going to go ahead and get my wire. But I started out, I was in my kitchen, and I had a MacBook that was brought to me by one of my friends, and he was like, hey, can you get this working? And I was like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. And I watched Lewis's video because I searched Google, and just so happened one of Lewis's videos popped up. And Lewis was working on a Mac that was similar to the one I had. How you doing? What's going on? My pens, man, my pens.
Pens, can't have too many pens, right?
Can't have enough.
Cool, man. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
sir. All the pens. It's like 10 pounds of pens. Ugh. But anyway, so I was like, I was watching and I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, hell, if I've got a pretty good idea of how to fix stuff. I can figure stuff out by watching somebody or just kind of having experience looking at it or something. So I grabbed a cheap soldering station, my first AU unit that I had, the all-in-one unit with the giant fucking soldering iron and everything, and I ordered that. And at the time I probably only had like maybe $200 in my bank account, so I told him, I was like, hey man, I'll fix it. I knew what it was based off of watching Lewis's video. He had no green light on the charger, and I opened it up and looked at it, and it had corrosion on the one wire circuit. I can't remember what the ISL is, or not an ISL, but it's a little switching IC that took the 3.42 volt and the BCAC OK voltage, and it would send the voltage out to the charger to say, hey, it's okay, green light, turn on, blah blah blah. And it had a burnt pin and trace, so I was like, okay, cool. So ordered that, got it in, fixed his Mac, got a couple $100 for fixing it, and I was like, well shit, if it's that easy, I'm gonna start buying MacBooks. So I started out just by buying shit on eBay. I would buy, when I started out I didn't have much money, so I tried to find a really cheap one. The first one I bought was another charging issue just like that one, almost exactly the same actually, and I fixed that one and turned around and sold it like in 2 days for $400. And I was like, well hell yeah. So I took that $400 and I bought two more, One of them on the next order turned out to just be a bad hard drive. The customer didn't know. I bought it. That's the thing on eBay. I like to buy from individuals. I don't like to buy from companies, because companies know what they're looking for. They know usually what they can and can't fix. So I knew that buying from an individual, there was a good chance that they didn't know how to fix it. So it was something that I could mess with, and I knew that they hadn't dicked with. So I bought my next one. It turned out to be the same thing. Then I bought some more. It turned out to be a hard drive. And the other one was LVDS cable was burnt up. It had no backlight. So I fixed that one and made some more money. And then not all of them were fixable. I did run into some that I didn't know how to fix, or they were problems that like with PCH or something, like something that I wasn't going to be able to fix. Just really bad water damage. I'd like to get this knocked down some. It's a little too large for me. Too much solder here. Being a perfectionist, and it's gonna fuck me. Alright, we'll leave it alone. It's connected, we know it's good. I'm gonna touch up this pad back here that looks kind of corroded. This test point. But that's pretty much how I started, and I still do that to this day. Like, we'll go on eBay and buy from individuals. I still avoid any type of companies. Every now and then you can pick some up from a company that's just a recycler and they don't bother with fixing them. But a lot of the eBay sellers I see tend to be companies that's what they do themselves. And if it's been picked over, it's a good chance that you're going to get a shipboard. I was talking to Lewis. He said Duke sells some of his on eBay too. And what he'll do is he'll get all the bad components together and put them on one board and then sell it. He's like, so avoid any big sellers on eBay. I was like, yeah, I don't mess with bigger sellers anyway. Alright, so let's go see if we've got a parts board to replace these missing components. Be right back. Hopefully we have our missing components on this one. Yes, we do. Sweet. This is a parts board. Obviously, they've taken the PCH off of it. They've taken all the RAM off of it. They've taken everything. The SMC's gone. Like, they scavenged this one. I bought it for like $15. So, but it's got all the random caps and components. I've already scavenged the LVDS off this one before I had them. But it'll have most of the stuff we need to work with. Whoops, OBS has crashed. Well, cool, you can stay in the background. Crashed, Mr. OBS has crashed indication. It's pretty funny that it says that it's crashed, but I can sit here and stream the entire day with it. So let's do a comparison and see what we need. We need a lot of stuff. Damn. Okay, so we're gonna lay down some flux and start pulling components. Get this board up. Okay, there it goes. This is going to be a tedious process because I'm going to do it one component at a time. I don't want to lose any of these. One way to really keep from losing components is flux. Flux will keep them from really blowing off the board. Plus it'll help you with your soldering. As I say that, I'm going to end up losing this component. Okay, it's on. We're doing a nice reflow of our LVDS here too in the process. So on to our next one. I normally look for sellers with low scores. You can tell like the big time resellers and stuff from the little people. Like their score is a dead giveaway. You can tell by the photos and description usually if there's somebody that's fucked with it or not. Usually you can tell the people that don't know what they're talking about. They'll say like, the ones I love, you'll see them, they'll have like MacBook for sale for parts, and it'll have the folder icon on the view that they're showing, and obviously folder icon is not a big problem to fix, but for the average user, they don't have a fucking clue what that means. Some do, but most of them don't. They just think their Mac's broken, and Apple's going to tell them that their Mac's broken, and it's going to cost such and such amount of dollars to fix it, and most people don't want to put that kind of money into their devices, so.
What are you heating up over? It smells like Bigfoot's dick.
It is, actually. How'd you know?
I'm taking a random guess.
It's actually your mother's dick.
I just got burned.
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 I just got burned. Okay, we got one more to transfer, and then we'll start working on this area down here. Okay, let's put down a little bit of flux and then reflow these real quick just to make sure that they're on their pads. Okay, now I'm going to come back in with my tweezers and just make sure that these are soldered well, since we took them off a board that looked a little crummy. So I want to make sure that they are soldered down well. So what I'm going to do is take my tweezer and place it on top of the component. It's a little warm still. Yeah, still really hot. Makes it hard to place my hand near the connector. See if I can do this without burning myself. Okay, that one's soldered well. Okay, alright. That should be good. Now let's work our way down here. I don't know if these hot tweezers will have enough to take off MacBook components or not. It's a hefty task to do. Doesn't look like it. So let's go back to hot air. Lewis's slut shaming video. Yeah, I watched it this morning. I mean, I can agree with some of what Lewis is saying. He's not the first one to say that. I mean, Dave Chappelle did a stand-up kind of about the same thing a long time ago, about when women dress up and go out for the night, and then they try to hit on them, and women are like, I'm not that kind of girl or something like that. And he's like, she's got her titties all hanging half out and stuff like that. And he said that's kind of sending mixed signals. He's like, that's like me dressing up as a policeman, and then when somebody runs up to me, it's like, officer, can you help me? This man's... Yeah, no, he says, what do you think I am, a cop? Just because I dress this way doesn't mean I am.
But that's impersonating a police officer.
I didn't hear that, sorry. So I can agree with some of the stuff he's saying. At the same time, I do think that there's some personal responsibility for, like, especially men or women. Like, if you can't, just because somebody may be dressed up that way, it doesn't give you the right to do anything. But at the same time, you can't really...
Look at what she's wearing. She's asking for it.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't say, like, she's asking for it. Like if a girl gets raped or something, or even a man, you can't say, well, he was asking for it. And, like, at the same time, you can't put off that personification and then not understand why you might get, like, somebody yelling at you or making comments about you or something. Like, it kind of comes with the territory. It has to be expected. You have to expect that you're going to get somebody that's going to show some sexual interest in you if you're dressed up that way, because you're putting out an image that you somewhat are interested in that kind of interest or something from someone. But at the same time, there's also personal responsibility to understand when they're not interested in you or not. So it's a mixed bag there. But when he was talking about it, I was just thinking about the Dave Chappelle stand-up the entire time and just kind of laughing in my head. Ma'am, just because I dress this way does not mean I'm a police officer. Alright, so let's pull the parts off of our other board and transfer them over. We need the, I think it's an inductor, maybe a large cap, but I think it's an inductor there. The component underneath it in the large IC, which we have. It looks like it may be a little different design here, actually. Similar components, maybe in a different orientation, maybe. Let's clean it up real quick and see. Just want to make sure, don't want to put anything in the wrong place, cause any issues. Okay, so this is the cap and small cap that we see there, and then on this one we have that cap and small cap here. Let me see if this IC is the same. I may just put this one back on. 255726. Okay, so it's a different IC, so I'm going to put this one back on, but we can transfer the inductor and stuff over. Let's just make sure our pads are still on the bottom of the IC. Looks like it, so that should be good. So let's flip it back over here. We'll put that IC back on. Do the Lewis technique of mashing out the excess solder. Clean it up with our iron, hopefully. There we go. Clean up the excess. And then reflow it again so it'll sit back up on the solder. What was the donation? I couldn't hear it, sorry. I know somebody donated. Thank you, whoever it was. I definitely appreciate it. Okay, let's grab our large cap. Okay. Fuck out of the way. Of course, it blew it away because I didn't put flux down, but it didn't go too far. Put some flux down there. Grab our cap. Okay, that one's down. Alright, and we'll grab our inductor here. Put our inductor in place. Put some flux down. Alright, so that's all for the most part cleaned up and back in place. I'll let this cool and then kind of scrub it down. We've got the ultrasonic heating up so we can you don't have solder under pin 3. Talking about on that IC right there or right here. I'll check back with this one. I'll try to put my iron down in there and hit it up with some solder. Okay, should be good. Alright, let's make sure that we're still connected here. Alright, so the hot air disconnected that one, so I gotta resolder that. No big deal though. I'm actually going to bridge those pins because I want them to share as much as I can. This is the last blackmail payment you're going to get off of me, son, so show them photos. Show them the photos, I don't care. Well, thank you, Paul, I appreciate it. And thank you, Manuel, for posting that up. I missed the donation when it came through. Alright there, so we got the pins bridged together now, so we don't have to worry about the thing coming loose. I don't know why the HDMI camera seems to be getting progressively darker through the stream. Let's brighten it up a little bit here. Okay. Paul, I appreciate it. You have a wonderful day, sir. Stick around if you want to stick around. We're going to test this one out here in a second. See what else is broken. Hopefully we can make some money today ourselves. I was watching looking this morning. I noticed that Scoop 3D, I think is his name, has a channel. Interesting stuff to watch too, so you should check his out. Also, Paul Daniels should have his scope here soon, which is awesome. So he's going to start doing videos. He said he's nervous, but I think he'll do fine. Alright, I'm going to go through and check and make sure that all these pins are soldered well before we test. Yep, they all look like they've got a good solder fillet under them. So I'm fairly confident in that. Alright, let's look at our LVDS cable. It did look corroded, so we're going to have to see if we can clean it up. Hopefully it's just surface and not anything crazy. It doesn't look terrible. Obviously the majority of damage was over on the backlight, so those pins seem okay. Let's see if I can show you that. We got one pin that looks a little suspect, but I don't think that it's bad. I think it's just got corrosion on it. So we're going to clean that up. What's up, Spectre? Thank you for the donation. Alright, we're going to zoom in here and look at these pins. It doesn't look like the pins are bad, it just looks like they got some corrosion on them. Nothing, a little light scraping won't help. And then a quick clean up here. There we go. They look pretty good. What's up? Timmy's back. Timmy! Alright, so let's grab our board. And I'm going to clean out the Thunderbolt port real quick. I gotta put thermal paste back on the CPU. Actually, I shouldn't have to. We're gonna run this through ultrasonic anyway, so honestly I don't know if I really need to run it through the ultrasonic or not. It seems like everything's contained in this one area. Thunderbolt port looks like absolute dog shit. Let's see here. See if I can show this to you all. That Thunderbolt port looks like the caca. Not many people use Thunderbolt, but it is a useful port. I use it on my computer at home for my external GPU.
Do I need to write this virus removal as a complete task, or was it paid out yesterday?
What do you mean paid out yesterday?
I wrote that I did the LCD yesterday.
Yeah, you can write it out.
Okay.
Because it's a separate charge.
Okay.
So I'm just scraping down the pins here just to loosen up any corrosion that's in there. Doesn't look terrible. It is discolored, but I don't see any like extreme damage to the pin on this side. The other side does have one pin that is a little burnt, which is probably the main power pin, but I think it'll be okay. Once you slide a connector in there a few times, it'll probably clean that pin up. The expansion slot, on the other hand, looks like shit on the inside. I don't know if anybody honestly ever, or the SD or whatever the fuck it is. Whatever. Don't care. Live without your expansion slot. Alright, so let's drop this back in. Actually, I'm going to clean this up real quick. Get some corrosion right here next to the LVDS connector on these components. Looks good. Alright, so let's lay this back in there. Which can be a little tricky at times, just getting all the cables sitting up on top of the board. I found that the backlight and the keyboard cable are the two most mischievous cables. They tend to do whatever the fuck they want. You gotta kind of guide them.
Hey, this is Mike at BGA. I was calling to let you know that your Dell laptop's ready to be picked up. Thanks. Bye. Hey there, can I help you?
Hey, how's it going, man?
We're good.
Yeah, I had a question about I brought my phone in once for this issue, and I think this sensor is gotten like misaligned again with adjusting with the light, where I can't turn the screen like on and off, but sometimes like whenever it's hard to explain. Okay, so the phone is on right now, but the screen like won't come alive, but sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. And so I think, see, now it is. So last time I think y'all replaced this sensor or realigned it or something, because I got the screen replaced here, and then it started doing that, and then y'all fixed it. I brought it back and y'all fixed it, and it's been working fine ever since. And now for some reason it's starting to do that same issue again.
Alright, yeah. I just have to take a look at it and see what's going on.
It's like you're supposed to be able to, like the tap on and the back buttons don't work sometimes, especially in dimly lit or like dark areas. It won't work at all. Like in a pretty well lit place it seems to work fine, but it's gotten more and more spotty, and when it's dark it doesn't work at all.
Like the screen won't come on.
The screen won't come on, but then like what if I plug it in?
I'm covering up
But if I plug
the
it,
sensors and stuff right now, and
because if I plug it into like a charger, the screen will come alive. So I've had to like unplug it and plug it in just to check stuff before if I'm in like a dimly lit area.
You have to take it apart to look at it.
I was just trying to determine if it's a sensor. I don't think it's a
It
sensor
is.
that's doing it. I think it's something else.
No, it is. I'm sure it is. It's the only sensor that does that.
Well, I just covered it up, completely.
Yeah, he said it only does it in dim rooms.
I mean, yeah, it's happened enough in the last week for me to bring it in. Because at first I thought it was just being screwy, but
since I had it covered up, then the screen shouldn't come on.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. I know that's what it is. I remember that phone.
Yeah, it was probably about 6 months
It's been a while ago, yep. I remember it.
So is it alright if I just leave it here and just check back?
Yeah, let me get you a fill out form so I have
Okay.
your name and number.
I can just come back in like a couple hours and see what's in.
Should you fill that out for me?
Do, 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 do. Alrighty.
I'll come by after lunch and see.
Sounds good. It's the one that you lost the gasket on. No. Tony, that's the one you lost the gasket on. I remember that phone. We had to make it work. We ended up painting the light sensor with the black permanent marker to get it to function. The reason it won't work is because there was a gasket that's supposed to go into the frame that you didn't pull out, and we couldn't find it. Chances are we're probably gonna have to order something. I mean, you can try to get it working again, but I have a feeling it's gonna keep doing the same thing over and over. Boop 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 boo. So the backlight is working now. So we have successfully fixed the issue. I'm putting the computer back together now. Let's see. Chris got a 6+ touch IC trolling you. Mark, what's it doing? What is that mean old 6+ touch IC doing to you? What do we do? Have a cat. I like cats. If you don't like cats, then fuck you. If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you. I lost my little screw there.
Pick him up by the tail and sling him around, smack against trees.
Micah?
Some say that's the signs of a serial killer.
Yep.
I'd say that's signs of a good old time.
A good old time.
A good old time.
Good old time.
No, you want to, you can just throw them in the washing machine.
Alright, so change Mason, no touch. I think my jumper's grounded out. Mark, check it. You can check to see if it is grounded out. From what I remember, if that jumper is properly functioning, you should have about a 0.5 volt average across that line, which is the data line working. That's just what the meter will see. If it's below 0.5 volts, it usually means that there is something pulling it down. That is if memory serves me correct. Also made a rookie mistake, did not reball the new chip with leaded solder. What do you mean? The touch IC? You don't have to. It just makes it easier for rework if it's got lead on it versus lead free. Where am I? Oh. I was like, where am I missing my screw at here? Found it. So this oh, okay. Well, then whatever. 0.4 voltage average, sorry. Either way, if it's below that, if it's below 0.4, 0.5, then you've got a problem on the B-Sync line. Alright, got one last screw to put in for the Wi-Fi IC. Then we're going to retest this and make sure that it is working still. I did have a little flicker on startup. We'll see. We should have backlight now though with an Apple image. See, there you go, backlight. Did we get Apple logo? Didn't chime for me. There it goes. Apple logo. Yay, so it's in. So backlight's working. It didn't chime that time, but I think it's because I disconnected the battery. Might have to do a PRAM reset maybe. Yep, seems like it needs a PRAM reset. When they don't chime, PRAM usually will fix that issue. So let's do PRAM. PRAM didn't work. Well, you know work, PRAM. Yeah, what the fuck ever. It'll work. Audio should be fine. Let's see. Will it let you control audio from here? No, it won't. Anyway, keyboard's working, mouse is working. Cool, cool. It chimed earlier when I first turned it on. Oh, I see why it's not chiming. Hold on, I'm stupid. It's not chiming because I don't have the cable that transfers some of the data across to the secondary board, the DCN board. And I think the audio IC may be on the secondary board. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, so it chimes now that we have the cable back on. So, backlight's fixed on this one. We get money. Woohoo. That took us less than noob. Yeah, I am a noob. That took us less than an hour pretty much, other than the fucking around. So that's good. Let's move on to our next MacBook. I'll find my cover here. This one they had already taken the screws out for me, so less work I had to do. There we go. God bless, dude. Why do you scream when you sneeze? Phone time? No, more Macs. More Macs today. So this is a 2015 Retina, I think. Something like that, 13-inch Retina. It's had coffee spilled on it. And no longer turns on. So we'll take a quick overview. First things first, we need to disconnect our battery. The battery on these models is extremely sensitive, and it just broke. That's cool. The connector did. The battery on these has extremely sensitive circuitry on it, but it looks okay. No corrosion on it. So let's take a walk around. There's some obvious liquid that's been on the SSD. So we can see some corrosion here on this connector. I can't remember if this is microphone or no, that's backlight, keyboard backlight. Let's see, LVDS has some burn marks on the connector here. Where's the HDMI? Not on this side. This one they said there's no display on HDMI either, but I don't think that that's the case. I think what's going on is we've got some burn marks on what seems to be the backlight circuit possibly for this. Maybe that, no, actually I think that's the LCM power rails there. So those first two pins I believe have to do with LCM power and LCM switch. Our backlight for the keyboard is shorted out, so that can be drawing main power down. And we also have some liquid damage on our SSD. Hopefully there's none over here. It looks fairly clean around the processor. Yeah, there's no water damage there, so hopefully this is just another image issue. The JTAG port, let's see, what's it look like? Yeah, there's no JTAG on it. It does have some corrosion on it, or some liquid on it. Let's see, I don't think there's an actual JTAG port unless it's on the other side of the board. I don't think we actually have a JTAG on this side though. But anyway, we'll take this out, poke the bear. I don't have any parts boards for these, so this is going to be strictly just trying to fix what's broken on the board. We'll start by disconnecting everything. I suspect that this one's not displaying anything on the monitor, and then I think you have to shut the lid on these models to get them to display to HDMI before you're logged in. So what's wrong with it? It doesn't display any image, but it does chime, is what it came in as. So yeah, it's the make it work project, as Amy said there. LVDS looks okay. Looks like it's got some slight corrosion on the pins. No big deal. Alright, so we'll start taking this thing apart. if you've ever watched Lewis, which I know most of you do, a lot of this work is not necessarily easy. I mean, you have to have a thinking brain to understand it. Like, you have to be able to look at something and kind of put two and two together. But it's kind of monkey see, monkey replace. All right, backed up. Cool. So on water damage, same with iPhones. I mean, a lot of the water damage repairs that I do is
look it in here, but how do I know if it's working or not?
Take it into a dark room or something and try it. See if it shuts off. A lot of this stuff though has to do with visually look at the board, see where your corrosion is, see if the problem that you're having matches the areas of corrosion, and then fix it. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I mean, it not to discredit the work, there is some situations where it takes a lot of metering and a lot of sitting there finagling shit and working with it. And there's boards that I haven't been able to solve, and I'm sure Lewis could because he's seen them and knows more about them, and Tim probably has seen and knows more about them than I do. Macs are, I can figure Macs out, but Macs are still kind of new to me in the sense that if you told me a problem with an iPhone board, I can kind of tell you exactly what possible situations are that could cause it. I can't do that with Macs. I just don't know them that well, not intimately enough. Monkey see, monkey repeal and replace. Yeah, pretty much. There's definitely a lot more thinking that goes into these type of repairs than like screen replacements and stuff. The screen replacements are just general work pretty much now. It doesn't take a whole lot to do screen replacements. Maybe to your average person that walks off the street and looks at it thinks it's something crazy, but in reality, screen replacements are a thing that most people can do with a little bit of training. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, Tim, you could probably work on iPhones pretty easily too. It would just take a little while in working with them, but I guess the question is then placed, do you want to specialize in one thing, or do you want to try to be general repair and everything? I think if you specialize in something, it helps you out more so than it does trying to be good at everything. I'm nowhere near a specialist on Macs. I can figure out what's wrong with them on some of them, but I'm still not like a wizard with them. I couldn't be like, yeah, this, and this is going to be wrong. Replace this, check this resistor, blah, blah, blah. I've seen it before. Like, I can't do that. Lewis can. And Lewis, I think, tries to humble himself or tries to personify himself as somebody that's not as good as he actually is, but he's very talented at doing Mac repairs. I think Duke is probably one step above him, but I think Lewis will eventually be at that point. I think Lewis is getting close to that point as it is. Like, Duke is one of those people that can be like, hey, my such and such model MacBook's not working. He could be like, okay, check this resistor on the board. It's common to cause those faults. Or I've seen that fault before, check this and this. Like, Lewis is getting there. I think for 90% of it, he can do the same thing. Duke probably has a better background, though, as far as the electrical engineering side of it. He's very smart. Definitely knows his shit.
With a name like Duke, how can you go wrong?
With a name like, fuck you, Micah. They put two different sizes on this board? Yep, they did. Thank you, Apple. Two different size screw standoffs here. Apple, the king of douches. If I remember correctly, this one slides up under the tray. Yep, it does. So take all those off, and now we can get our heatsink out. And now we can get our board out. Hey, it's still got rice in it. Sweet. Somebody put rice on this to try to sop up the coffee. It worked. Not.
It did work, Chris. Don't you lie.
You know that rice worked, Chris. Quit trying to play down the rice repair community. You're a rice hater.
Seems to work to me.
Alright, so let's clean up our PCH, CPU, APU, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't know what each one's called. And I'm sure people listen to me like, no, stupid.
No, stupid.
It's
no,
a fucking, it's a integrated SoC socketed 2941863-11, you dumbass.
Dumbass. Chris, dumbass.
And I will call it a CPU. How about that? Actually, I guess we'd call it an SoC if we wanted to. Well, it's not a full SoC. It doesn't have onboard RAM. It's an APU, pretty much. Alright, so let's do some cleanup around here. The little die next to it. So the CPU is the long one and the PCH is this one, or this is the PCH and this is the CPU? Which die is which? Or is it this is the CPU and then that's some type of GPIO or something, or I don't know. I don't know what it's called. The CPU is the long one? Okay. Good to know. So the PCH, is the PCH just like the GPIO, the input-output stuff? Like what is the PCH's process? Is it just a GPI unit that does the voltage input outputs for different systems on the board? Because that's what used to fail on a lot of the older Intel chipsets, like the PCH or the GPIO or the South Bridge or North Bridge or whatever the fuck it's called. I guess it's the South Bridge. It would fail and there would be no output. Well, we got corrosion on our SSD connector there. So that could definitely cause some issue. It's a memory controller? Okay. Cool to know, cool to know. See, we learn stuff on stream. I don't know everything. I learn as we go. I appreciate your all's input. I learn by talking to people and just kind of listening and watching, and I really honestly learn the best by watching people. Even more so if I can watch them in person and kind of prod their brain while they're doing it. That's why I like to do these type of streams, because I can kind of converse with people and tell them why I think it's doing what it's doing. Alright, so this connector LVDS looks the same as the one we just did, so that's good. We know we can at least replace it. Okay, so it is the South Bridge, sorta. So it does memory, PCIe control, backlight. Okay, so it does a lot of shit. So yeah, it's kind of like a South Bridge, I guess, because South Bridge does similar stuff like that. Ah, makes sense. Thank you, Amy. Now I can understand the acronym. Yes, the other MacBook is fixed. Alright, so let me check my LVDS to make sure that this is exactly the same one that we just did. It looks like it, but I want to make sure. Again, these are the ones that don't have the little legs on them, so that kind of sucks. It doesn't have the little notched feet. I tried to find those, but I didn't see them. Yep, looks like the same connector again. Sweet. So we can replace this one too. Let me see if these have the notched feet on them. Nope, no feet there. These are all older ones. These aren't the newer connectors. I have to order some of the newer ones. Alright, so like we did on the other one, I'm going to go ahead and... Honestly, this one doesn't look terrible. I could probably patch it up, but I don't like leaving... Because you can't see down inside these very well, there's a chance that there's some fuckery going on inside of it. So I don't like to leave those on there if I can. EMC Pro box. Does it come with the booster box or is it just the Pro box? Because you want the booster box if you're planning on reading them. The Pro box is mostly for programming the EMC. Now the next question is if you're going to do any other type of memory. The EMC Pro is limited on what it can do, but it does do what it does well. So it's up to you. I got my my new programmer in today. It reads EMCs also, but it's very slow compared to the booster box. The booster box can read directly from the IC. On the new prog programmer, it only reads from a dump file, so it's considerably slower when doing EMCs. I'm still waiting on my adapter though to do the UFS. They were back ordered, so they said it should be out next week that I'll have it. It's definitely a nice unit though. I like it a lot. It has a lot of options, like it'll do a lot of different I can smell the coffee as this burns. It smells good. I like the smell of coffee. I don't like the taste. Smells like some dark roast.
Fresh coffee brewing in the morning.
Some dark roast going on this board.
Have you ever seen the video of the Christmas Folgers? And it's like the brother comes home for Christmas and it's a Folgers commercial, and all of a sudden it's like it starts doing the whole Folgers slogan thing, and like it shows him like filling up her thigh and shit.
What the fuck are you watching? Alright, so let's go ahead and wick this. Get this cleaned up where it is usable. We can then see what needs to be fixed and what doesn't. Best part of waking up is Micah filling you up. Alright, so let's clean up here. See what fuckery we have. Need some more acetone.
Restart. Let's see if we can watch Spaceballs.
Welcome to the Spaceballs. It's your chance, take your dance at the Spaceballs. Alright, alright. See, no, you still have the computer plugged in. It won't reset until you unplug it.
Nope, there it is.
Okay, so the pads look like they're all there. That's good, so we didn't lose anything. What happened to Porn Voice? Yeah, we fixed Porn Voice. I figured out what was causing it.
Hey guys, I'm ready to fuck.
My name's Chuck.
Put me on top. Listen here, you better make me come. I'm gonna kick your butt.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You never watched Orgasmo?
No.
Have you ever watched any of the old Trey Parker and Matt Stone movies?
No.
God damn it, Chris.
Oh, that pad actually is a little fuckery. Oh, there it goes. You cleaned up.
haven't watched Campbell the Musical or Gazmo.
Have you watched Batman Forever though?
PNC, I may help you. Doing pretty good. Yeah, we fix phones. What was that now? Big or small, we'll fix them all. Is it an iPhone? What model iPhone? The 6S. We can fix it, and we can fix the home button, but you won't have Touch ID anymore. Like, you know, the fingerprint scanner, you won't have that anymore.
You'll have home button function.
Yeah, you'll have home button function, like you can press it and turn on your phone, but you can't log into your phone with the fingerprint scanner anymore. For just a regular iPhone 6S, or is it a Plus? It's just a 6S. It is $110 now. Yeah, it's $110. And then it'd just be the part on the home button. I think we got them in stock though, but it'd just be for the part. I forget how much they are.
It's like $10.
Like $10 or so. So it'd be about 120 in the end. Okay. Not a problem. Bye.
Hello. What can we do for you?
I dropped my phone a few weeks ago, and I just got my time to come trade it in.
A few weeks ago? Does it not turn on at all?
No.
Okay. Alrighty. Have you fill the paper out. We'll take a look at it and we'll have to let you know what's wrong with it. Do you have a number we can contact you at?
Yes.
Okay. Today is the 26th. Alrighty, we will give you a call as soon as we get something figured out. We'll let you know what the price will be to fix it. You can write this on the board and put it on the to-do shelf.
What is it?
Water damage success plus. It's been a week since you dropped it in the water, so that's going to make it interesting. And I guarantee you she's tried to charge it. Because that's what you do when you water damage your devices. You try to charge it. Stick them in water. Okay, let's try to...
Is this a 6 Plus or 6S?
6S Plus. Okay, that barely stuck down, but it did. I'm gonna put some solder on the end of my tip here. Okay. Alright, that side's down.
Well.
Come over to this side and do the same. Okay. Let's see if we can sneak us in a little solder here. There we go. Need flux. Needs a flux. Okay, so my soldering iron would take some solder down on the edge, leading edge that I wanted to. I'd be happy, but it's decided today that it doesn't want to. There we go. Okay. Now time to solder the pins. We'll add some flux and try to drag solder this. Flux is your friend. So let's put some solder down and then try to drag solder these. That way you don't have enough heat on the tip right now. What are you doing?
I put the codex on there, and it doesn't complain. It doesn't complain about it now.
Yeah.
But it still won't play the DVD.
What are you gonna do? Put VLC on it or something?
I'm gonna see if there's a program that I can get that's XP compatible.
Looks like we still have some corrosion on our pins here because it's not taking the solder like it should. We got plenty of heat on this tip. This tip should be able to reflow these pads easily. Let's try pressing it down to the board and make sure that these are touching. That might be the problem. Yeah, they're definitely touching. It's just not. It's not soldering to the pads like it should.
Not just yet. No, Chris hasn't had time to take a look at it. I'll probably take a look at it here in just a little bit. I'll give you a call back as soon as I find out what's going on there. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll give you a call as soon as I find out what's going on with it. All right. Bye.
Who's that?
That's what I probably see. I need to figure out what's going on.
Alright, so our pads look soldered. We just need to pick up our excess solder now. Okay. Alright, should be good now. Let's clean this up and see how it looks. This computer that we're working on is a old ass fucking IDE non-SATA Windows XP machine that this guy insists on using, and for some reason it won't play DVDs. And we've installed the codec pack because it said it didn't have the appropriate decoder, and we got that installed.
It doesn't complain about now, but it crashes every time I try to play DVD.
Does it?
Yeah. So we're gonna see if we can find something else.
Okay, everybody looks good. I need to tack that down, and then we should be done. Just that one ground pin on the end there, and we should be good to go. Wonder how the autofocus will work on this. Let's turn autofocus on. It probably work well on these boards because there's not a bunch of tiny ass components all next to each other. Probably works well for MacBook repair.
There we go. Yeah, it'll work on Windows XP.
What, VLC?
All the way back to Windows 95, it says.
Got that support, bro. Alright, so connector looks good now. Let's do one more cleanup there, and then we'll search around for more damage. We're gonna clean up the SSD also. It looked like it had some build-up on it. Actually, we need to come down here to our keyboard backlight. So our keyboard backlight it has some grossness going on there. We need to clean up these pads on both sides. This is where the hot tweezers are nice. I can come in here and reflow these individual pads. It's a ground. It's really eating up the heat there. Yeah, the autofocus works well on the MacBook boards. Alright, that should be good. Let's check the pins inside the connector. Make sure they're okay.
There we go.
Is it working now?
Playing those DVDs.
Playing those DVDs. Alright, so that via there looks a little suspect. So I'm going to try to doctor this up a little bit. I have to actually use the tweezers. Let's see if that did any good or any worse.
DVD player. Thank you, VCL. I don't know what you wanted the other one to do. You just wanted one of them to play DVDs, didn't you?
That's what I thought.
Okay, alright, this one plays DVDs.
Okay, so let's see. Does that connect to our...
That's right, Ken. It plays DVDs.
Let's do a little continuity test there and see if that has continuity to the VIA. I don't know that it does or not. I'm going to run a little bottle of Acetone on there though, because I don't think that those are touching. Now they are though. Alright, so that should be connected, should be good. It's connected to the VIA now, so we should have keyboard backlight as long as the keyboard itself works. That's going to be the question. And if the actual connector is okay or not. Alright, so let's look at our SSD. I'm just going to do a quick, just kind of scrub to make sure that there's no obvious corrosion on anything exposed. Most of this stuff is underfilled, so I'm not too worried about it. I do have some exposed components down here.
Oh shit, I forgot to get my DVD.
Better get that out.
You watch my Spaceballs.
Yep. Yeah, that VIA goes through the board. Alright, so let's look at our connector for our backlight, for our keyboard backlight. Still looks a little crummy. Or a lot crummy. So let's touch this up with some reflow action. Okay. Let's see what that did for us. Alright, those are all soldered down, so that's good. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's put her back together and test it out. Actually, I need to look at the LVDS real quick. actual cable. See how it looks. Alright, it's got a little corrosion on it we need to clean up. That first pin, which I think is an LCD power, looks a little rough. Hopefully it's alright though. You all can't see that. Let me see if I can get it in focus for you. There you go. It's had the gold plating kind of oxidized off of it. I think it'll still make a good connection though. So I'm fairly confident in it. This work is really simple. Yes, it is. That's what I was saying. Not all of MacBook work is very complicated. And these are probably, a lot of these Lewis probably gets and it never makes it to stream because it probably gets passed off as something easy to Jason or something, and then it's fixed and sent out. Lewis has some easy ones on stream, but a lot of his he usually doesn't have a lot of easy stuff that he does on stream. He usually has the rabbit holes on stream. What's up with the voice? What voice? Was it the voiceover? My voice? Is my voice weird? Maybe it's my voice. Maybe I have a weird voice. Alright, so let's push our connector in here, latch it down. We'll plug in our keyboard backlight. I would be shocked if the keyboard works, to be honest. Nothing but static? Do I have static? Does anybody else hear static? Well, fucker. A stupid keyboard cable got down behind the board. How you doing?
Hey, Bob.
Can do for you.
Did you all need some more time with my phone, or
Which one was it?
the G4, the light sensor thing?
Yeah, he was still working on it.
Okay, that's fine. I'll come back here. Just what time y'all close today?
7.
Okay. I also wanted to, because I don't think y'all keep this in stock, a back camera for that phone.
G4?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to order it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if you could do that.
Okay. Yep, we'll get that ordered for you.
You think, how long would that take to come in? Probably about a week or so? Or?
It'd be towards the end of the week.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
Alright, how much longer do you think to come back in a couple hours or something?
Yeah, it should be ready by then.
Alright, thank you very much.
No problem. I don't know if Micah has that done yet or not, but I think he does. But we'll see. I'll give him time. Alright, so I got my power plugged in. Let's see if we get anything here. I would be shocked, to be honest. Power button. Oh, there it goes. Got chime. Hey, we have backlight and image now. Woohoo! So we fixed that problem. Let's turn it off. I don't have the heatsink on. So we have backlight and image now, which we didn't have before. So we fixed that. Cool, cool. The guy with the G4 came by just a second ago. Is it done already?
Yeah, it's over there.
Oh, well, he'll be back a little later. I told him I didn't know if it was ready or not, so just give us a couple more hours. He said, okay, he'll swing back by. Did you find a frame with the one in it or something?
I found one with the good enough.
Yeah, gasket. Okay. Did you take it back there in the back where it was dim and did it?
Yeah, I mean, the screen dimmed down, but it didn't go all the way out.
No, I mean, like you did your hand over the call thing. Like what he was doing, he could double tap to wake it and it wouldn't wake. Because the light sensor would tell it that it was in his pocket. Okay, power off. Double tap. Okay, go in the back where it's a little darker and try it. Alright, so let's put all our screws back in this one and put new thermal compound on it, and we'll be ready to go on to our last MacBook. The last one is the one that doesn't see the SSD. He said that there was no liquid damage that they saw, but we'll find out. Sometimes there can be hidden damage, or if they didn't pull the board, maybe there's something on the other side of the board they didn't see, which can happen.
Yep, it worked.
Alright, cool. Good for me. Alright, let's put some thermal compound down. Some of our Arctic Silver. Arctic Silver. Put our heat sink across here. Alright, get our CPU screws. We'll put these back in. Can't see the SSD. Yeah. He said he wanted to make sure that it wasn't, because they had one before like that and it had some corrosion on the board. And I fixed the corrosion and it started working. You think it's a PCH? Be kind of funny if it was. We'll see if it'll boot from a USB. We had one that wouldn't boot up, and it was because the format on the drive was wrong. Let's put our CPU pads back on, because those are super fucking important. Gotta make sure our screws are padded. Don't want the fucking bottom casing to hit the screws. That might damage our screws. Fucking Apple. Fucking Apple. PCI power lines. Yeah, we'll see here in a second. I want to look at it before I start guessing what it's going to be. Because I find sometimes if you have preconceived ideas of what the problem's going to be, you can miss out on some stuff. I didn't check if the backlight on the keyboard was working, but honestly, if the Mac turns on, then they've already gotten more than they can ask for after spilling coffee all over it. I'm surprised the keyboard seems to work properly too. Usually they're gone after liquid. That phone obsessed is going to make noise again. And power it off. Okay, we got about 5 more screws left, and then we're on to our next one. That's right. These are the smaller screws, I forgot. Because Apple. Apple's like, we need to put smaller screws on these. Because if somebody is working on this, they need to have 2 different screw sizes to put a fucking fan on. because we're Apple. And that's what we do. Alright, that one's done and back together. Let's plug it in. We'll make sure that it still works. Button press. We'll wait for the chime and the Apple logo. Takes a second. There we go. Apple logo, backlight, and it's into the login menu. And for some reason the keyboard actually does work. I don't know how, but it does. The fan turned on earlier, so I know the fan works. Everything looks good, I guess. I mean, what else can you ask for? It turns on and has a backlight. When before it had no image. Alright, so let's see here. There's the back cover for this one. There you are. That's more monies. So on to the next. MacBook Air. MacBook Air. Let's take the screws out of this one. Ultrasonic the boards after repair, not enough flux on. Yeah, I mean, there's no sense in ultrasonic the entire board for just damage on the LVDS connector. I mean, it's all. I cleaned it up with acetone. It should be cleaned up enough. If it was something like a backlight driver or anything that has any type of BGA rework or just a lot of corrosion on the board, which these don't have, then I would run it through ultrasonic. But there's not corrosion everywhere on the board. It's in a localized area, so I'm not too worried about that. Now if we open this up and it's got corrosion everywhere, I'll throw it in ultrasonic.
Wait.
Yeah, I will.
Rainbow.
Yeah, I will.
Like all your
Yeah, I will.
your streamer friends.
My streamer friends.
Streamer pals.
You lie to all your streamer pals.
Pen pals.
My pen pals.
Pen pals.
Alright, so let's take a look at this one. Alright, so looking for any obvious liquid damage. What's on this J-tag down here? J-tag's got a little something over here. Let's see. Doesn't look anything major, but it does have something on it. Anything on the J-tag causes fucking issues. Let's disconnect our battery before we go poking around on this board. Alright, so clean that out. Should we just remove the J-tag? Okay, let's look around here. Check under here. Everything looks okay there. DCM board has some flux residue. It's got some clusters of dust bunnies.
Dusty bunnies.
Dusty bunnies. We're gonna pull. I'm just gonna undo the SSD and pull it out just to make sure. Chisel it out. Let's see. Let's do a once over of the SSD. I Looks like mostly just flux residue and underfill on here. I think I have another one of these SSDs in the back actually, so we may be able to test this one. I don't see anything overly wrong with it. Let's boot it into, well, let's boot it up and see what it does, and then boot it into a bootable external installer IC, and then, or flash drive, and see if it'll actually boot up or not. Could be, like I said, that the partitioning or something on the drive is just not correct and it can't read it because of that. And it won't show up sometimes even in the hard drive listing. We've seen that before. Alright, so turn it on. No, it's doing its on off because we disconnected the battery. Alright, now it should boot up now. Alright, booted. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we have no icon yet. I suspect we're going to get a folder view here in a second. Mikey, can you give me a MacBook installer flash drive? OS X.
Yes. What? Sierra or?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, Sierra's fine. So we have backlight. We're waiting on a folder icon to pipe up. Blech, pipe up. Pop up. Pipe up. Pop up. Still don't have folder icon. Not yet, at least. Usually I think it comes up a little quicker than that, but maybe it doesn't. Alright, so let's plug in our USB. There we go. Let's turn it off. Okay. Hold option. Okay, I'm starting to think that this issue is not anything to do with the SSD at all. I think it has no image. Because I'm holding option and I'm not getting any options for recovery at all or anything like that. Let's try a different USB port just to make sure. I'm going to do a PRAM reset this time. Let's turn it off. Let's see what we get. Yeah, I still got nothing on the screen. Its backlight is on, but it's not displaying an image. So I'm going to turn it off. We're going to remove the LVDS connector and then plug it back in and see if maybe it's just loose. Let's look at the LVDS itself. Looks okay. Yeah, pins look fine. Let's just take it out and then reseat it back in. Make sure it's seated all the way in. Check and make sure everything here looks normal. It does. If drive fails, undo screws, take out a bracket, replace them. Alright, so let's plug our power back in. Let's plug in our bootable flash drive just in case. And we'll turn it on. We have to wait for the on-off bullshit. Somebody just posted on my old video, it looks like, of the so we still have backlight but no image. Which could be a LCD switching problem. Alright, let's try a SMC reset.
UNC, how may I help you? We close at 7.
Okay, SMC reset. Let's see if we get anything.
That sounds good.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I do. I think we do have some 30 pin cables out there. That one that you brought in, it was an OEM cable. I mean, it would have worked, but I think that's your own personal one, wasn't it? This is going to
Okay, try another PRAM reset. We press on the LVDS while it's booting. See if we get any life out of it. And try moving the screen. Sometimes you can have a short in the cable.
Not a problem, ma'am. Bye.
Okay, I'm going to try an SMC bypass and see if maybe it's an SMC issue. Okay, it's an SMC bypass. Wait for it to boot up here and see what it does. Okay, SMC bypass shows no image either. Okay, so it's not that. So this has to be either a data line issue or a power issue, based on what I'm seeing. Alright, I'm gonna let it chime, make sure it's booting up first, and then I'm gonna do a we're going to probe and see if we're missing any power rails for the LCD. Tim, do you know offhand? Bad screen? I don't think it's a bad screen. The screen itself activates. But I don't know if we're missing a power rail or something. So I'm going to check and find out here shortly. We have backlight. So the first two pins are 0 volts. Backlight's 24 volts. 0 volts. Let's see. Not sure where the LCM power comes in here. Might have to look at the schematic probably. But we definitely have I thought the LCD power was the first two pins. Maybe it's not. I think it might be this line actually. Yeah, there's 3.3 volts. Let's see what we got here. Nothing. 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 We got lots of zeros. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, that the switch line's down. So I think that the switch line is down. It's odd though because the backlight turns on, so I would think that
Hey,
it
this is
sees
my
it,
cat, BNC. I was
but
telling
it's
you about
not
the
getting a
laptop
power
back
correctly.
here. Okay,
So
I was
let's
taking a look at it.
find the
It is
schematic.
the backlight on it. To replace the screen, it'd be $95. Yeah.
It's a 3437.
Yep, we'd have to order it.
So we need a 3437 schematic. So let's
About,
go
yeah.
to our schematic folder and see what we have. MacBook 3437. Alright, we've got the schematic, so let's open her
Yeah,
up.
you can see it like if you shine a flashlight.
Yeah, the backlight comes on, but no
Off
image.
yourself. I could pull them off for I think we charge 45 to or we know it's 55 to pull that off, and I can put it onto a drive for you or something. Or if you brought in a new laptop.
Alright, so
You're not gonna owe nothing. I can just throw it back together for you.
let's find our LVDS connector in the schematic here. Airport card, fuck off. Here we go. Is that it? No, that's not it either.
If we order it, yeah. I mean that's labor and everything to put the screen.
Where are you, mister?
I probably just set it aside, but I mean it's you know it's just up to you.
There it is. Found it. Alright, so how is this written? Is this backwards? Looks like it's backwards. Yeah, it's definitely backwards.
Okay. Okay. All right. No problem. Bye.
I'm trying to find that pin first. 3v3 SOSW line actually is 3v3. I'm looking at the schematic now, so the 3.3 volts is there. So I'm thinking maybe this is a LCD data line issue. Alright, so let's look here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. So it is pins 18 and 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 18 and 19, which are these two here. We already kind of knew that. It's 3.255 volts on that side, 3.255 on that side. So we definitely have our SW line. We just have no image on the screen. Does it display on output on the external? I don't know. Let's find out. Micah, do you have a HDMI cable hooked up?
Yeah.
Actually, we don't have an HDMI. Do you have the display port cable hooked up?
It's hooked up. I think there's some right there it is BGA. Yeah, it'll be that one right there. You didn't even have to do anything?
No, it's starting working now.
Brought over to me that magic hat.
Alright, so now all of a sudden the image is working now, so we have a folder icon. I was about to plug it in and it worked. So let's see if it'll boot from our external now. Okay, so now it's booting from our USB drive. So before it wouldn't do that. It didn't do anything. Now it's booting from the USB. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if the drive's just not formatted correctly. Hopefully that's all it is.
Is it an SSD? I mean,
Yeah.
is it soldered to the board?
No. So we still have our logo. It's loading up the OS. Seems to be loading slow as shit. It usually loads a little faster than that, but alright, so use English for the main language. We want to continue, agree. Okay, so it doesn't see it. How did you get into the disk management shit before? Actually, I think you have
You
this.
get the old option.
No, like once you're in the OS installer.
Is it not showing up?
Yeah, what'd you do last time?
Restart it.
Just restart?
Yeah.
We will restart then. Alright, are you gonna fuck up again, or what are you doing? Should boot immediately from the USB since there's no other boot devices. But it's hanging up again.
CPU's have gone full retard.
There's no signs of water damage on this board though. So if there is liquid damage, I can't see it. Okay, yeah, it loaded up the icon again. It might be just booting really slow. Well, usually though, these will load up pretty much instantly, but this one not the case. Like, it's taking its sweet ass time. Like, it's sitting at the loading bar, not loading. Come on, you piece of shit, load up the OS. It's not showing a loading bar, but it gave me the mouse. Now it shows a pinwheel. Now it loaded instantly. Yeah, it gave me the options now. Alright, so let's go into disk utility and see if our SSD is showing up. Nope. So the SSD itself is not showing up in the OS installer. So let me go see if my SSD that I have is the same. I still have seen SSDs like this though that still have some weird formatting, and the only way to get them working is to... Well, maybe this SSD is bad. Jesus Christ, it's warm as fuck. Oh, the board's warm.
Did you disconnect the SSD?
The board's pretty warm too. Yeah. Try what?
And try just booting from the USB.
I did.
It still ran slow?
It took a second to load up, but it loaded up. I'm gonna let that boot up again. I'm gonna go grab the other SSD and see if it's the same one.
Hey there. Can I help you?
Well, I don't know. This phone dropped out of my pocket one day as I was getting ready to close the driver's side door.
Uh-huh.
It coughed and it went ever so slightly, and I don't have Siri won't talk to me anymore. So, my sister and brother-in-law said they were directed to you.
No, it's facing under the screen check.
No, it's just slightly bent, warped. I was explaining that it dropped out of my pocket one day getting in the car. And
It's really bent.
it works fine, except Siri
Siri.
just doesn't like me anymore.
As in it won't bring up Siri, or it just doesn't
Yeah.
respond to you?
Well, she won't communicate. So.
What's your
It's just
passcode?
like
1215.
Siri. Hello? Siri's the top one?
Yes. Top mic is probably bad or clogged. Does it, when you make phone calls, when you talk to people, do they sound muffled at all?
Well, it started sort of randomly sort of dropping, but I don't know whether that's towers or.
Dropping as in like it loses signal or just loses calls?
I guess I don't know. I guess it sort of loses signal.
Does it go to searching?
No, it just drops the call.
Oh, okay. No SSD scene. So I wonder if the SSD is bad.
I'm really surprised that bent this far without busting that screen.
God was watching over me.
You told me it was in the equipment office door.
Alright, I'm going to take this SSD over there.
I heard something click and it was like, what happened? And now it is exactly closing. I'll never know.
It'll take a little bit for him to do that. If you all want to run and do something, probably about 20 minutes or so. We can test it out and see if that's what it is.
Let me get you a file paper because I won't remember your passcode.
Oh, okay.
We'll need that to test it. Where's that for you?
Holy crap, food times. Thank you. Alright, with that, I'm gonna go eat some lunch. We'll come back to this. I may take this SSD over tomorrow and have it tested. I think the SSD's bad.